everyone. Here we go. We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Feenix Fundraising Recharge. I'm sure you guys are super excited to be here. We probably have a few Feenix individuals, Feenix students that are here. We probably have some people that are wondering what is Feenix about. If you are watching, maybe you can just put in the chat box which university you're in and who you are, just for us to get to know you a little bit more as we dive into the fundraising webinar. And I'm sure if you're here, you probably have a few questions about fundraising. That's what we're here to do, give you guys a little bit more insight on who is Feenix, how you can use the Feenix platform, and how you can fundraise, and the tools that you will need to fundraise on our Feenix platform. Right. So I don't see any comments so far, but I am Tejo. I'm a student advancement coordinator from Feenix, and we will be having a few speakers with us here today. If we can go to the next slide. Awesome. So I will be hosting as a student advancement coordinator. Then we'll be having wonderful colleague Nosipo, who is the Feenix Donor Development Coordinator, who will be speaking on how you guys can fundraise and the essential tools for you to have a successful fundraising journey. And we'll be also having Verona, who's our Feenix Marketing Coordinator, who will be expanding on more about how you can build your online community and why that is essential. I see there's someone here that said, I'm Tabiso, doing my final year at the University of Limpopo. Hi, Tabiso. Thank you for joining us. We're super excited for you to be here. I hope you enjoy it. I see Karabo here, University of Free State. So yeah, guys, keep putting your names in the chat box. Keep telling us which university you're at. We want to know. If you want to tell us more, what year you're in. We're here to cater to you as students. I'm sure there's a few of you that might be asking, what is Feenix? Maybe you randomly came across our page. Maybe a friend brought you here. We are Feenix, right? I hope you guys can see Feenix. We cater in fundraising for education, because education should not be dependent on wealth. Awesome. So as Feenix, we rose about from the Fees Must Fall movement that happened in 2015, 2016, because we believe that it's vital for individuals to have an educational background to be able to break the cycle of poverty. There's an enormous sense of wanting to help in whatever way possible. And there's a huge frustration among students, especially when it comes to our current state of fees. And we have tried to bridge a gap where students can also be part of the solution, and we are able to provide various other solutions based on the communities that we have collaborated with as well. Our mission is to ensure that young people have access to education and are equipped to thrive in life. This is done through connecting young people in need to donor communities that care and critical wraparound support services, right? Because us as Feenix, we know that the student journey isn't just about fees. There's a person behind that journey, and we take a holistic approach of, yes, connecting you to donor communities, but also connecting you to wraparound support services that can cater you to get more skills. We have a Black Boolean, a Black Boolean platform, which helps students with financial literacy. And we also have webinars like this, but for our current students, where we can help them gain more skills, right? And we also support the missing middle, the individuals that aren't able to get funding, or the individuals that don't qualify for a specific, bursary or anything like that, cater towards, postgraduate students, those with historical debt, in an effort to create a safety net for students who aren't able to access government or other traditional funding. With Feenix, we believe access for all with Feenix. Okay, so like I've spoken about here and there while I've been talking, I've spoken about our secure crowdfunding platform, and that's what we're really going to focus on, how you guys can crowdfund on Feenix, right? Like I said, we are a public benefit organization that serves higher education students that we can help them with their debts, whether it be current or historical debts, right? And the first method that will be mainly focused on in this webinar is our secure crowdfunding platform. This is a platform where you can create a profile based on the historical debt or current debt that you have at your current institution, right? And you are actually able to be part of the solution and fundraise for yourself, right? The second solution, we partner up with corporate companies. We issue out skills development bursary programs with these businesses, and this is based on their specific criteria. It's important to know that being on the platform does not secure you to get a bursary. Getting a bursary is based on the criteria that the corporate company is wanting from us, and we recruit for them specifically. Okay. And like I said, we believe in a holistic approach as well, which is our wraparound support services, where we're able to equip you with skills outside of getting funding and make you ready for the job world, because that's why we're here. That's why we're getting an education, so that we're able to be employed and move further and achieve the goals that we're wanting to achieve, right? Like we said, we believe that access to education should not be dependent on wealth. I see you guys are putting more in the chat box. If you have any questions, please know there is someone on the Feenix team that is answering questions. So as we talk, if you have any other questions, put them in the chat box and let them be answered. And also at the end, we will be having a Q&A, right? So to just build further, I'm sure a few of you might be hearing like, okay, this girl is talking about crowdfunding. What does that mean? What is crowdfunding, right? Crowdfunding, we provide an online crowdfunding platform, provides the opportunity to solve a funding need through contributions and support of friends, family, and individuals and businesses. Students in need of funding can actively participate in the achievement of their goals by engaging and mobilizing their community as well as the network of those they interact with, right? So this is you being able to build your community based on your existing community or wanting to create a wider community of individuals sharing your story of how you are wanting to raise funds towards your education. And those individuals giving little by little by little and being able to pay off your student debts. Okay, awesome. So for us to expand further into how your fundraising journey can be carried out and how you guys can achieve that successfully, we'll be having Nosipo, who is our donor development coordinator, to expand more on what skills and what tools you will need to fundraise on our Feenix platform. So Nosi, we're super excited to have you and super excited to hear the wonderful things that you have to say about fundraising with Feenix.
Thank you so much, Tseho. Hi, everyone. I can see that we have students from all over the country. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm really, really excited to be here with you guys. I've had a lot of, talks with my colleagues. Students are asking questions. They've created their profiles on the Feenix platform, and now they want to know how can they raise funds, how can they reach their goals. And, I'm just here today to kind of walk everyone through it and just give you the basics, just the mere basics, so you can kickstart your crowdfunding goals and make sure that you raise those funds towards your university fees. And I'm going to kick it off with storytelling. Guys, when you create a Feenix profile, the first thing, one of the requirements actually is writing a story, who you are, where you come from, those kinds of things. And I just want to tell you that is one of the most crucial things about your profile. Your story is very, very important for many, many reasons. And I will get into those reasons as we progress through the webinar. But now I just want to speak about how, number one, to write that story, because that is the story that everyone who goes onto your profile will see. That is me someone who doesn't know you, someone who knows you. Any organic person that comes onto the Feenix platform can go on and, you know, accidentally come across your story. That story needs to have something. So the three things that I have identified when it comes to a really good story, and I read hundreds of stories a day from students, is that your story needs to, number one, be very captivating. You know, it needs to be inspiring, and it also needs to be able to connect. So when I read your story, I would like to connect with who you are as a person. I want to read your story and be inspired by your story to make that donation. I want to read your story and actually finish reading the story because it's so captivating. So V, if you can just go to my next slide so I can elaborate more about this. The first thing about your story will definitely be the first impression, right? And we always say it's always good to open with an attention grabber. And you know, you have students thinking, oh my gosh, what is an attention grabber? What am I going to say? I'm not trying to lie. You're obviously introducing yourself in the first paragraph, who you are, where you're from. And I just want to say, you know, you can follow that with anything, you know, something that inspires you, something that you are proud of, the reason that you are even on the platform that, you know, might be different from someone else's reason. And I just want to put it out there, guys. You know, when we speak about first impressions, a lot of the times when personally I read student stories, simple things like, you know, my name is Tepo and I am from Mabopane, for example. I live in Cape Town right now, but I'm from Mabopane. So when I read someone's story, a student's story, and I see that they are speaking, they come from a place that I come from, also Shanguve. Immediately, I want to continue reading the story because I can connect just by that person's location, the student's location. I can automatically connect with it. You know, sometimes when I read student stories, they'll say, I went to this and this high school, and that for me can also be a connection because, for example, my sister went to that high school. So small details like that that we take for granted are actually part of what makes our stories our stories. And then the second part is be descriptive and use very vivid language. When I read your story, I would like to imagine what is happening with you, why you're on the Feenix platform, what inspires you, what brings you here. A lot of the times, student stories are quite generic. You know, my name is XYZ. I need funding because I couldn't get funding from NSFAS or whatever the case may be. And it's all good and well. We understand that we are definitely all on the platform so that we can get some kind of funding. But there's something that makes you different from all the other students. And it's important for you to kind of speak about that. And when we say be descriptive, I want to read your story and have a picture of you, you know, whether it's a picture of how you grew up or it's a picture of where you are currently right now, or even a picture of where you imagine yourself in the future. It's important to kind of just bring your audience in. I am the audience, I'm reading your story. Bring me in so that I can kind of live your experience with you. And the third thing, which is very important, is emotions and authenticity. A lot of the times when we tell students about, you know, writing a good story and having it be descriptive and vivid, they think, but I don't want to write fiction. And we definitely don't want you to write fiction. We don't want to read stories that are made up. We believe that we have real people on the platform. More often than not, you'll be very surprised. People can connect with you in ways that you could have never imagined. You are not probably the only person who's in that position. There's someone who's been in that position before and they got out of it. Probably, you know, they also got someone to help them or whatever the case may be. So people connect with you for very different reasons. And it's so important to kind of be raw in how you write your story. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Be emotional if you have to. Be authentic. You know, we want to know who you are. Put the audience in your shoes. Make us feel your emotions, whatever it is, whether it is pushing through your obstacles or just even if you don't have that many obstacles, just wanting to reach a certain level in your life. Bring us in. Those are the kind of things that we cannot always advise our students to share when they're writing their stories. And we also speak about how to stand out. I might have mentioned earlier that when we read student stories, a lot of them really sound the same because we are, the students collectively are kind of facing the same kind of obstacle. They all need funding for whatever reason. But standing out is important because as much as the reasons might be similar, our stories are not the same, guys. We don't come from the same places. We don't have the same aspirations. Our lived experience is not the same. So there'll always be something about a Tsepo or a Ntombi that stands out, and you should be able to bring that into your story. Sit down with yourself before you actually send us your story that is going to go on the platform and introspect, reflect on the lessons that you've learned over the years. Be authentic about, how far you've come as a person, what you have learned, where you want to go. Those are the kind of things that really connect to an audience. And like I said, emotions are quite important. Allow yourself to be raw. Allow yourself to kind of, be okay with telling us the truth about why you are where you are. That is what is going to draw the audience in. That is what a donor, for example, wants to know about you. That is what is going to make someone say, I've read the story, this person, this student is worth me investing in. And they will definitely take out that 100 Rand that they have and make a donation towards your education, towards your journey, because what you have said actually resonates with them, or they are inspired by it, or they just kind of share the same sentiments. So to write a story and say, I need funding, that's all good and well. But there's more. There's more to who you are as a person. And it's very important to kind of bring that into your story. That's our point of departure. And I really hope that it kind of resonates and it makes sense to you guys how important that story is. So now that you've written a really good story, and your audience is captivated by the story and they are inspired and they connect, what is probably going to happen is that you are going to get that first donation, right? But you don't just get that first donation from your story. There's something that you also need to do, and that is building a community around you. Your community is probably going to be one of the most important things when it comes to your fundraising goal. And there are 3 things that we have identified that we know for a fact these things work, guys. And I really would like you to take today's advice, the tools and approaches that we are giving you, and to test yourselves and go and implement it. The most important thing is always going to be your voice. The onus will always be on you to speak about your journey, to let people know about your journey, to go out there and kind of, students like to say, how do I market myself, or how do I advertise myself? You use your voice. That is the one thing that will get you to where you want to be, your voice. Secondly, I'm going to touch on the importance of finding a champion, because we all understand that we can't do things by ourselves. That is why it's called a community. You need people around you that are also going to push this thing for you, that are going to stand up with you and say, okay, let's advocate for Ntombi, because I believe in her. I believe in her as her mother, or I believe in her as a former colleague, or I believe in her as a classmate. So finding a champion is very important, and we are going to delve deeper into that. And also the importance of amplifying your story. So you've written your story is great, it is on our platform. How do you go about amplifying it and just kind of sharing it with the general public? So we can we please go to the next slide? And now we are talking about, the key elements to having an effective community. In your story, you have obviously probably defined your goals and your values, and it's also very important to kind of sit with yourself and be very, very clear on your why. The minute that is done, now you start sharing. It's very important that you share your profile with people across all the boards. So, for example, we all have WhatsApp. Take your story, a snippet, a picture of your profile, have the link there, share it on your WhatsApp status. There's something called broadcast messages, guys, where you can literally send everyone on your WhatsApp a message regarding what you're doing. Share that. Share your profile with all your contacts on your WhatsApp with a short message. Even if they're not gonna donate, you don't even have to say. It's okay. It's really good to ask for a donation, to say, hey guys, I'm fundraising. This is what I'm doing. I really would appreciate maybe R100 donation. But also it's very important to say to your community, please share my profile with someone that you might know if you're unable to make that donation. So my point of departure will always be WhatsApp, because I know that most of us use WhatsApp on a daily basis. The people around you guys, no one is an island. You have colleagues, you have classmates, you have your family, you have your friends. Wherever you go, whoever you are spending time with, tell that person. And even though, because mostly we are students, and the person that is closest to you is also a student and is probably also struggling to get funding, so they're probably not going to make a donation towards you, but tell them about your journey, because you don't know who they know. And just ask them, please share this with whoever, share this with your network. Social media is big. Most of us have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. Post your profile on those social media platforms, guys. No one is going to know that you are fundraising if you don't tell anyone that you are fundraising. You also cannot create a profile and then hope for the best. It is not advisable to spray and pray. It's advisable to do. If you have, the minute that profile goes live, now that's when the work starts. That's when you have to go about and tell everyone, tell your community, make sure that they tell whoever it is that they might know. We speak about creating engaging content. That is also quite important, because you are talking to different people on different levels, but it's the same messaging, right? An example which really has stood out for me over the past few months as I've been here at Feenix is of a student who went out and he told his colleagues about his profile. He told his classmates, sorry guys, he told his classmates, and I was like, but your classmates are like the same as you. They're also looking for funding. He says, no, I sent them an email with my profile, and I said, please share this email with your parents, your friends, your families, your colleagues, because I don't know who they know. And I thought that was so amazing. He also went on to LinkedIn, which is a quite professional space. So you need to kind of be very professional in your approach if you're going to be sharing your profile onto LinkedIn. But he went on to LinkedIn as well, and he inboxed certain specific people that he thought would resonate with his story and what he was doing. And I really thought that was admirable. And I really feel that everyone who is on our platform, who's on the Feenix platform, can quite literally go about doing the same thing. And then when I talk about using your voice, guys, like I said in the beginning when I spoke about your community, your voice is the most important thing. If you do not speak, then no one is going to know. V, can we move on to the next slide? No one is going to know. So you have to go about fostering relationships. You have to build connections with your community members so that they can contribute towards your fundraising goal. I strongly and fully believe that if you go about doing this, then the effect of this will be, the results of this will be someone making a donation towards you. And even if it's not a big donation, remember crowdfunding means a lot of people coming together to make small donations. The minute you get that first 100 Rand, that is the greatest win, right? From this point on, you are now building momentum. It's very important to keep up the momentum. And the key will always be consistency. Always remain engaging. So you can't put up your profile today and then you forget about it and put it up again towards the end of the year or 3 months later. In order for people to remember that you have a profile on Feenix and you are fundraising and you are crowdfunding, you need to remind them constantly. We obviously don't want you guys to be annoying or anything like that, but it's really important to continue doing it. Like, you can't stop. Unless you can even set like a goal. So say to yourself, every week on Wednesday at 6:30, I'm going to post on all my social media platforms and remind people that I am still on the Feenix platform and I am still fundraising. It's also very, very important. V, can you please move on to the next slide? It's also very, very important to, when you get to the point where you now have built this community and people know about you and your profile and you're consistent in, advocating for your fundraising goal, you also are keeping people in the loop about what you're doing, posting for the first 100 Rand that you receive on whichever platform. Just post and say, yo guys, I have made it. I got my first donation came in. I got my first 100 Rand. Let's make sure that by the end of this week, I have 2 more 100 Rands that will come in. That kind of shows gratitude on your side. It also kind of builds trust between you and the donors, because now they know that they know where you are in terms of your fundraising goal. It's also important not just to post and say, I got my first 100 Rand, but to say, I got my first 100 Rand and I am so grateful. Like, gratitude goes a long, long, long way, guys. Making sure that you not just keep your audience in the loop about what you're doing, but you also show gratitude to people who even share your profile, to say, guys, thank you so much for sharing my profile. To the people that donate towards you, it's important to send, because they will be making the donations through the Feenix platform. Send us a thank you letter. I will always make sure that I share your thank you letters with your donors, the people that donated towards you, because I know for a fact that they want to know where you are, they want to know what you're doing, and that is something that actually encourages them to keep making those donations towards you. V, can we move on to the last slide? And like I said, very, very important to write your thank you letters, to express gratitude towards your donors, because what this does is that it builds trust. It also really encourages repeat giving. So when donors make a donation towards you of 100 Rand and you send them a thank you letter to say, hey, I don't know you, but I can see on my profile that you made a 100 Rand donation towards my fundraising goal. I just want to say thank you. This really goes a long way. It will make a massive difference in my fundraising goal. And it's also really encouraging for me. When you write a letter like that and you send it to us and I share that letter with your donors, what will always happen, and I've seen this before, is that donors become so touched. They become so inspired, so much so that they are most likely to make another donation towards you, so that they make sure that you actually reach your goals. Another thing that they tend to do in instances like this is share your profile with their contacts. Hey, I made a donation towards Teboho. Teboho sent me a gratitude letter. Please, can you also go check out Teboho's profile so that you can also make a donation towards him? So just to kind of wrap it up, guys, it's daunting. Fundraising is like quite a daunting kind of experience. And I know this because when I started out in my career, this is something that I always talk about because it's exciting when I look at where I was and where I am now and how I kind of understand the industry of fundraising and crowdfunding. When I first started out, I was a face-to-face fundraiser. And we would stand in malls and I would fundraise for different organizations and we would ask people to sign up and make a committed donation of X amount, usually 100 Rand or 150 Rand. And we had targets every day. Every day we were supposed to sign up X amount of people. And I can tell you now for a fact, for every one sign up I got, I had to speak to 10 people. So if I'm not speaking to 10 people, then I'm not getting anyone to sign up to the cause and make a donation. And that is something that I always want to put out there to say to students, guys, you can't speak to one person. It's not possible. You need to be able to speak to many, 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 many people. Because when you speak to many, many, many people, you are really increasing the chances of you getting a donation. And just to kind of wrap it up, do not forget to send those thank you letters. Do not forget to post your gratitude on all your social media platforms that you've posted your profile on so that you can keep your audience in the loop, so that your audience actually knows what is happening with you, and so that they can also make more donations towards you. And also something that I'm going to highlight, when people see your profile and they see that you are actually getting donations, it kind of has a ripple effect. Other people also want to come on board and make donations towards you. So guys, keep at it. Kickstart it. Start. Make sure that you have a schedule and just push through. Don't give up. I am so confident that if you follow these like just small tools that we are giving you, your story, building your community, using your voice, you will in no doubt reach that fundraising goal. So that's it on my side. I will be back again at the end for your questions and answers from me. Tseho, you can come on board.
Awesome. Awesome. Norsi, I just want to say a big thank you for the amount of knowledge that you've imparted to the students. We're super, super, super keen to learn the different tools and tricks that are needed for us to fundraise on the Feenix platform. Like we might be thinking that the way we're storytelling or the way that someone is talking about themselves is adequate, but then you giving them that insight, what you need to be personal, you need to be able to leverage your community. So thank you so much. And right now we'll be having Verona, who will be expanding more on how you can build your online community. We're super excited to have her. Verona, please, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Seho, and thank you so much, Nosi, for that valuable information. I will also be touching on a few of the topics that Nosi has shared with you guys, where I will just kind of be showing you guys how you use social media to actually be able to amplify your story and also build on your community through social media. Cool. So we're going to get into the first segment, which is the tools to help you share your story and build your online community. So as Nosi has mentioned, she has talked about your story. She's talked about your community. She has touched a little bit on your skills, but I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into you guys to kind of see where I'm coming from with this. So when it comes to your story is unique to you. It's your unique experiences. It's your values. It can even be the role models that you speak about in your story. When we look at your skills, it is the talents that you have. It's whether you are a creative person, whether you are active in your community, a great sportsman, or an innovative thinker. When we look at your community, and this would be the people that you engage with on an everyday basis. So this could be from the lady that you see at the spaza store when you go and buy, some chips or something like that. It's even engaging with her. It is also your friends as well as your family. So your community essentially is literally anybody that you guys are in contact with, and those are people that can actually champion for you, including the lady at the spaza store. So we're going to go a little bit more into your skills and your story. And on screen, you can kind of see me showcasing my creativity, which is one of my skills and my talents. So on screen, I have a little character, which is little me. And little me is basically they're saying hi. And she is going to help me basically showcase my story in a more rightful way, basically. So because I am very much active on understanding social media, I would very much class myself as a social media guru. So the first one you can see is little me basically posing with my ring lights and then going into this being something that I'm passionate about and what I went to study for. And in this, I graduated virtually because of COVID. So I wasn't able to actually be in person, but I graduated virtually. And it was because of my mom's efforts that I was actually able to graduate and be able to have my accommodation, because my mom actually went out there and she was trying to raise funds towards my accommodation by selling different food parcels to people in her workplace, as well as just people online, where she would actually showcase what she's trying to raise funds for on Facebook. And this taught me the power of community and wanted me to also propel myself into giving back, hence why I work at Feenix. So when we go into your community and who your community is, remember, as I said, that I actually had my mom, and my mom was actually championing for me, and she was using the power of community to help me be able to pay for my accommodation. So your community currently is made up of Feenix. It's made up of funders, university students, as well as the Feenix student ambassadors. It's also your friends and family. And when we come into the world of social media, it is also your followers. So on screen, you also have little me, who basically elaborates more on this to speak about, we as Africans have been doing this for years, coming together to help each other. It is Ubuntu, which essentially is community. And when we kind of dive more deeper into this, into the part of social media, it is understanding that it is a way to expand the reach of your community. So now it's not just the people around you. It's not just the people in your household. It's not just your neighbors, not just your friends. It's actually those on social media that live so far away from you that you may have never met, but they engage with your content. So you can use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and as well as TikTok. We do not have TikTok currently, but TikTok is a very good way for you guys to actually reach a broader audience. It was actually designed so that it can help people gain the reach of being able to connect with various people online. So you have little me again. She basically says, so through the use of the internet, I can connect with others and achieve my goal. Right? And this is correct, because when you are able to reach a broader community, you're able to actually channel more. As Nosi has spoken about previously, it is that when me as a colleague, I have made a donation, I then feel like, oh, wow, I want to brag about this. I want other people in my space to also go and champion or make a donation to the student that I have made a donation to. So it's also just getting that sort of sense when you are able to get someone to champion for you on social media. Then the question that is being posed by little me is, but why is building an online community important? Let's dive into that. So the reason why it is important is because you want to raggy. No, not like Scooby-Doo raggy. Talking about reach, attract, gain, and inspire. You want to reach a broader audience to assist you in reaching your goal. You want to attract potential donors so that you are able to, through engaging content, so that you are actually able to keep the momentum going of getting more donations. You want to gain support through your followers, again, talking about championing for you, and you want to inspire your friends and family, colleagues, lecturers, your teachers from primary school, influencers even, to champion for you. Okay, then we're going into how to build an online community and what are the key elements for this. So this would be the content, it will be hashtags, social media, as well as your call to action. So we know that Nosi has touched on content, and now we're going to go a little bit more deeper into what type of content can you use, what type of content can you use, and also where can you display this content, what hashtags should you be using when you are putting your content online, which social media platforms could work for you best, as well as what is a good way to create a call to action so that people are consistently donating or championing for you out on social media. Cool. So when we get into content, we go into pictures, videos, memes, GIFs. On the side, you can actually see a little example where you have Bella Hadid and Kendall Jenner. I'm not sure you guys know the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know a lot of people do know. But then you have a little meme that I created, again, showcasing my creativity. is the Access for All with Feenix, and me basically snuggling up because I know I feel safer, and I'm happy that someone is there actually championing for me and providing me with wraparound services, and also creating this crowdfunding platform to help me graduate debt free. So what you want to do is you want to share a visual content on social media platforms. It is a great way for you guys to boost your engagement and get more students to reply to your post, as well as getting your people in your community to even reply on your post and share your content as well. It also can help you attract the right kind of attention by having people see that you are so active about actually reaching your goal and bettering your life or your community's life or your mom's life or anyone around you, that you are not doing this career only for yourself, but doing it so that you can better your family as well. And then we look at hashtags. So hashtags, I know that people on the internet are there's a 50-50 about hashtags, because back in the day we used to use so many hashtags, but hashtags are actually so important, because this allows that when people are searching for something on social media, your content would pop up. So a nice way to use it is to use location, is to use activity, industry, community, or even just descriptive areas or words, basically. So when it comes to location, it is, maybe you can say that you are in Cape Town, thinking that when someone is searching for things to do in Cape Town, your content would basically pop up. When it comes to an activity, maybe it is going hiking, your content would then pop up. Community as well. When it comes to industry, same thing. And also just being very descriptive with your hashtags, talking about strive to thrive. Those are also keywords that will also help make your content be more discoverable on these social media platforms. Then we go into the social media platforms. So as I have mentioned, it is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. So when you are using these platforms, it is important to understand how and where how you want your content to be displayed, and where you want your content to be displayed, being the time of day and things like that. So by doing this, by actually making sure that you are able to build a network on these social media platforms by consistently sharing your profile as well as updates. If you are constantly showing people that this is the day in my life, the content that we normally see on TikTok or like through Reels, where you actually see what it's like to be a student, showcasing that and showcasing how you are championing for yourself and how you are so adamant and resilient about going and achieving debt-free education, as well as making sure that you are able to get your degree, can also show your community how inspiring you actually are. As Nosi also mentioned, that's another word. So we want these words to kind of be associated with the content that we are showcasing on social media. And it should be something that whatever content we are creating should also showcase that. Cool. Then we go into your call to action. So you want a good call to action. A call to action directs people to know where they should go to make a donation, or to even just tell them to share your profile. You want this, because when you just have your content just saying, this is my profile, just there, people don't exactly know where can they go, where should they make the donation. So a good call to action would be visit my profile on the Feenix website, would be donate to my profile. You're basically pushing people to do something. So not just read the content, but to actually take action. And that's what you want. Another one would also be to follow social media. Or you can add Feenix as well. And also remember that hashtags are also quite important when you are doing this as well. Just to make sure that I'm reflecting back on that as well. Cool. Then we go into great content we love of local brands. So this is just a nice example, just to kind of show you guys from a commercial sense, with being like brands, of how they actually create good content that stays with us and that we engage with, which is what we want you to do as well. So when you look at the puns, the humor of celebrities, it is looking at how different brands actually use South African humor, because we are a very funny country. So it is looking at how do they use this to kind of attract new people and reach new people. And it's just by using your local celebrities and trying to actually build on that with comedy, basically. And then when it also goes into questions in your humor, so just creating that engagement by using fun questions that you see Nando has done. And then also looking at trending trending content hashtags you can also then play upon, because when you are able to play on a hashtag that is actually trending, that also allows for your content to be seen. So as you can see, we have one of the Young, Rich and Famous, the Netflix series of the South African celebrities. I'm not sure if you guys know about it, but we know it was a popular thing at the time. And you can kind of see just how they use quotes, which is kind of similar to how I was using the Kendall Jenner and Bella Hadid sort of post. Okay. Then we go into student content that we love. So we love to see positive pictures. And that's also what your audience loves to see. They love to see that, oh, you have reached your goal. How have you been going about reaching your goal? Just basically showing that thank you, as Nosi said, where you actually are displaying the gratitude of what you have been able to accomplish with Feenix. And then also when you are able to participate in our Feenix campaigns, that also allows that when you are actually actively being a participant in our campaigns, you are actually able to reach an audience as well. So when we are doing like last year when we did the last campaign and had a lot of students' content, their content was displayed under our hashtag and was able to like branch into that momentum of the crowd that we were reaching into. And then also make sure that you are able to update your sort of donors on your journey, so letting them know that where you are right now, how much you have achieved, as you can see on your far right, where it is basically showcasing a student that speaks to the fact that they actually did get a donation from a donor and how much they would like to thank them, and kind of just displaying that, the fact that showing that gratitude, and that's essentially what you would like to do. Cool. So then now you have little me come onto screen again, and she says, now you have the tips and tricks to work on your personal brand and make the internet your best friend, as little me has made it for herself. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Verona. Thank you for highlighting how we can use, social media and like existing content for us to be able to fundraise and make it fun as well. Make it in such a way that we're able to captivate other individuals and also able to build your own online network and community. Right. So Teho, the Student Advancement Coordinator, will be expanding on, being active with your profile, how that can influence you and your journey with Feenix. Right. So I'm sure you're wondering what does it mean for me to be active with Feenix? Does that contribute to my profile? Does it contribute to my story? And the answer is yes, right? So at Feenix, when you are when you are more active, we allocate activity points to you, right? And activity points align with how active you are. And the higher your activity points, the higher the chances of you getting donations from our pool fund when funds are allocated, right? So the more that you interact with Feenix based on, how much you share your profile, if we ask you to be part of a student story, joining the student story and being part of the webinars and participating in the webinars, being present, all those things count in your favor for you to gain activity scores, which when we allocate funds that are donated to our pool, we're able to allocate to individuals that are very active, right? And I'm sure you're wondering, like, oh, do the points like differ based on, okay, 1 point for this, 1 point for that, right? So the more effort put in the activity, the higher the score, right? And Verona highlighted, being a student champion. Nosi also highlighted being a student champion. And the more active you are, the higher the chances of you getting donations, not just from our pool fund, but from other donors as well. And allowing you to rally for not just yourself, but also for other individuals and for your profile to be seen and heard and for other individuals to donate towards your profile, right? Because being more active is not just a way for you to just gain from the pool fund, but it's also a way for you to also create your own online presence or attract more individuals to your profile as well, and allows you to become a student champion, right? So this is a criteria of how the activity scores are allocated. Just going live and creating a profile, you get 5 points, right? And example also being a student ambassador, you get 1,000 points. And submitting your thank you videos, submitting your thank you notes, completing surveys, all those things count in your favor you to get activity points and high activity scores, which actually highs the chances of you getting funding from our pool fund. So, guys, please do think about how you can be active on your own Feenix profile in the way that will attract you to more donors and also allow for when allocations are given that we're able to give you funds based on how active you are, because it's hard to identify students that are not active on their profile. Okay, so we have our Q&A session. Guys, I see you guys have been commenting quite a bit in the chat box, but we also want to hear what other questions you have so we can pose it to our guest speakers as well, and we'll be able to, give you an answer. I see one question here, which is how do I share my profile with those media platforms?
Where is the video?
From here,
At the bottom.
you
How
see
do
it?
I share? Okay, cool. Oh, cool.
You see
Yes,
it?
yes. Sorry. Yeah.
No, no.
Yes.
It said, how do I share my profile with those media platforms? V, do you want to expand on that one?
Yes, yes, definitely. So when you are sharing when you're sharing your profile on social media, I would say that it's important that you make sure that the link in your profile, because I actually have seen this a lot, where when people are sharing the story on social media, they don't tend to know that on Instagram, you want to actually put the link into your bio, which is when you click the little edit sign, and then it will allow you to put in the bio and then direct your audience to click the link in your bio, because they can't always click it in your description on Instagram. But another way I would also say is, other than just sharing on your stories on social media as well as in your in feed, just taking the link from there as well as the story from there and putting it into social media. A creative way of doing it, guys, actually take your phone and do a video where you're actually talking to your audience directly. They want that personal touch as well. So if you are actually able to take that and you actually make sure that you are talking about your story, letting them know who you are, what you want, to do with this degree once you do graduate, let them understand where you're coming from, then that actually makes people understand how much more passionate you are about reaching this goal and being able to make a difference in whatever way you can or will be doing so, based on your story, as you would say. So that is a very good way. And as I have said, like, TikTok is a very good place to do this. And as Nosi has said, is also would be to use your WhatsApp. Use a broadcast message when you're also sending this. I know that sometimes it doesn't seem as if WhatsApp is a social media channel, but it could actually be that as well, because it is your community, it is your immediate community. So using the stories there, where you every day even showing that, you need to be consistent in that, so that you are actually able to reach more people as well. Another way that Nosi also mentioned was to use the emails. How we had one student actually use their emails to kind of also get people to engage and also share with their community and champion for them. So using that also. Another way that I actually also wanted to say is that when you look at different influencers and celebrities and how they came up, every single time they got a follower, they would actually go and send a DM and thank that person for following and let them know how great they are. And I think a nice way that you guys could do it is actually to DM the people that you find as your role models and let them actually know what your cause is, who they are, and consistently even try to comment on profile, just letting them know like, oh, you support them. So actually just building that relationship so that it gets them that to look at their direct messaging and be able to engage with them that way. I know that in my own personal capacity, when I was busy doing crowdfunding for myself specifically, I actually was making sure that I was consistently engaging with international people, where I would basically be commenting on their social media, commenting on their stories, because I'm consistently on my phone, and I would use that and then use the direct messaging where I'm actually able to let them know what my story is, what I'm championing for myself, and where I feel this goal will be taking me. So it is a very nice and important way to actually use that. It's a very innovative way of using it, and it also allows people to see that, oh, you have a very good, you're trying to build a connection, not just trying to ask them for something, but you want that connection as well.
Thank you so much, Vin. Also, thank you for giving the practical ways that an individual can share their profile on social media. And also, like you said, having that personal touch, using that video and sharing that profile via, giving your backstory and also a form of storytelling itself as well, which is important and that has been outlined in this webinar itself. There's another question here, right? It says, I've been sharing, but no luck as yet. Even last year, I only managed to get 700 Rand from the closed community. Maybe, Norsi, you can provide feedback on this.
Okay. If you were, first of all, I want to say 700 Rand is, and it's not a lot of money, but it's people making a donation towards you. It's people around you thinking that you are investment worthy. So my point of departure with this one would be to say, give yourself a pat on the back. You've done well. We know that there are some students aren't even able to raise 100 Rand. So 700 Rand is quite major, and congratulations on that. Look, you say in your message that from my close community, and I spoke about how it's important to, and V also mentioned it as well, to say to people, if I make a donation towards you, then you can also say to me, please share my profile with your networks, right? Remember, it's a web. We don't all know the same people. And if I'm willing to think that you are investment worthy, whether I'm your sister or I'm your best friend or I'm your colleague, then maybe it might pass by, but ask me then and say to me, can you please share my profile with your network? So basically, what I'm saying here is that 700 Rand is a lot of money. Go back, do everything else, go on, continue promoting yourself, continue putting your profile on all your social media platforms, telling your friends, WhatsApp, continue doing that. But if you know the people that made a donation towards you because you say they are close friends and family, go back to them and send them your profile and ask them to share it with someone else. Because if they could make that 100 Rand donation towards you, then I'm pretty certain that they can advocate for someone else to make that 100 Rand donation towards you as well. So those people should be your champions. Those people are your champions, and don't be shy to create kind of that connection with them so that they can continue advocating for yourself. So you start here. If they come on board, then they become part of your network. They have to kind of spread the word for you. Ask them nicely. I'm pretty certain they won't mind.
Thank you.
Can I just add to that also?
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks, Nancy. Sorry. Just wanted to add to that also in terms of just answering the question as well. There is a very nice way where you can actually use your story. So I know that you have shared your profile. I know that sometimes it is for a lot of the students, including myself also, sharing your profile can sometimes be something that is a little bit hard, and to consistently do that, it can also be hard because that's taking a lot of courage. And we do very much appreciate you guys, and we recognize how much courage that actually takes to sharing your profile, especially on social media. But I would also like to say that other than just creating reels or TikToks, letting people know the day in the life of, you can actually use your story and actually continuously tell people about who you are, what you do. Because remember, story lasts for probably just 24 hours. But if you are every day just engaging with your audience, just taking a picture of this is what I'm doing today in class today, another picture that shows you writing a test, another picture that shows you are doing a revision, things like that. So just kind of showing an everyday step of the way what you are doing, just showcasing that can also speak volumes to what your cause is, being that you are trying to champion for yourself and reach a broader community. So using your stories on social media is a very, very, very good way. We all know that we watch people's stories. We probably sit there for, if not an hour, looking at different people's stories, if not scrolling through social media. So using your stories to also do that, where you can also just get your community to just see it. Like, it's not you always sharing your story from the Feenix platform, but it's also you just kind of showcasing your lived experiences on your story just by taking a picture. Just simply taking a picture and making that be your consistent content that you are using to build and reach more people online.
No, that's very important. And like being able to, utilize those skills and being able to be like, look, this is me, this is what I have to share, and sharing that to another, because your community has another community that they're a part of that you might not be a part of, which can be utilized and also contribute to your profile and you achieving your goals. And I think that's what Verona and Nosi are outlining in the circumstance. Right. I see another question. I think this is a statement, but I see we're running out of time, so I will read this and we'll answer one more question, and we will call it. Okay. So I just wanted to thank Feenix and my donor Standard Bank with the utmost sincerity for helping me get my degree and proceed to CTA on my grind towards becoming a CASA, and hopefully one day I will be a donor helping others who were in the same boat as me. And I think that's exactly that's what makes us happy as Feenix, knowing that we can contribute to your dream to become a CA, and also wanting to complete that cycle, wanting to pay it forward and become a donor yourself. That's what the student life cycle is about. This is what the Feenix community is about. And knowing that you can be part of a community of not just wanting to pay off your debt, but individuals that understand where you are coming from, that understand that I have debt, we have debt, let's try work together to attain this goal that we have, especially with the circumstances that we find ourselves in the tertiary education space. I'm gonna show this one last question. This I'll direct to you, Verona, and I'll just add a little of my 2 cents. But so if you can't post your story on social media, there's no way you'll get donations? Question mark.
So essentially, I would like to say no, but not exactly. It's not exactly that way. It's just that using social media, as I said, remember, it does allow you to reach a broader community other than just the immediate community that you have around you, right? So you know that when it comes to the latest Amapiano song, let me use an example like that, right? You know that when you actually do hear that song, you want to share it with your community, you want your friends to hear about it. And then you find the song used on social media and TikTok, doing dances, doing things like that. And it's because they were actually able to use social media to share that. So it helps you to kind of reach more people. So it's not just you kind of sharing, as I'm going to use the Amapiano song again, it's not just you sharing it with the people around you when you guys are chilling together, be it in the car, be it just be maybe after a long week of school. It's also just being able to share it with various other people outside of just your community, right?
Yeah.
So being able to use social media does help you amplify who you are able to touch and engage with, essentially, right? So that's why you do want to share it. But another way that you also could do it, let's say using social media because maybe you have data struggle, things like that, is not a possibility, then as I said, it is going to any person in your community, be it the lady at the spaza, just to ask her and say, look here, I know that you have a lot of people coming here to buy things from you. Can't you just please talk about my story to them and let them know about this place called Feenix where they can get my story and they can be able to understand, like, what I'm trying to fundraise towards, and have them actually, champion for you. It is also having your parents, your grandparents, any guardian that you have, to also just like share the news of what you're championing for in their network. So be that at work, when they're at work with their colleagues, letting them know that, oh, my son or my daughter is trying to raise funds for her education. Don't you want to make a donation? Things like that. It's having them actually champion for you and talk about you in that light, where you are actually able to reach into their communities through word of mouth. But I would advise strongly on using social media, guys. It's so, so important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just, I think you've said a mouthful. We are obviously, guys, technologically very advanced, and we are speaking about things that we know for a fact are current, and they work to your advantage. So when we speak about social media, we know for a fact that it works, and we know for a fact that as a student who's on the Feenix platform, using social media is going to work for your advantage. But like I said earlier, guys, I'm very old school. I come from a time where we did face-to-face fundraising, and if you're not on any social media platforms and you're not using social media to amplify your crowdfunding goals, then you are speaking to people on a daily basis. And like we said, the lady or the gentleman who's at the spaza, I don't know, go print out your profile and have it on the wall so that whoever comes and buys, they see it there, and they'll get curious enough to go onto their phones and try to figure out what is happening with you. But make sure that you talk to your family, your friends, your uncles, your family, wherever you go. Then use word of mouth. Word of mouth is also quite great. So when we say use social media, we are not saying don't speak to people about what you're doing. They all go hand in hand, except that with social media, you're literally reaching an audience of people that you absolutely don't know, and they can come on and they can change your life. So why not?
Oh, sorry, one more thing just to add. I'm sorry, I just thought about this right now. I'm so sorry. But I just want to share it with the students as well. Another way that you can also do this is, like, if you guys are able to use the internet at your school, where you can actually generate a barcode. When you would go to different places, they say scan the barcode and then you can make an order or go to the website. So creating those little flyers for yourself, where you actually create these barcodes and then pasting it anywhere and everywhere, be it at your local shop, right on the notice board, be it at a mall, be it at school, having that where people actually just go and they're very curious. People are incredibly curious about barcodes. Even using that where it's like a learn more, and it's just a quick, as you want to use call to actions. So using that, even because I do understand that sometimes data is a problem. So using those ways where you can actually look at what resources do you have on campus, and how can you use that to kind of broaden your community, and that would be by creating this little flyer with a barcode and sharing that.
And I just want to add, we know that in our everyday lives, we use social media. We are part of different communities without realizing it, whether it's your For You page, seeing other people commenting on For You page, seeing South Africans comment on American TikTokers and knowing that that is a South African. That is a wide reach that we're not able to have if we're just talking to people face to face. But knowing that also when you are talking to people face to face and you approach them in the most adequate way with a touching story, they are going to share your story. They might talk to someone pass by and be like, I spoke to this young man and he was telling me about his journey with Feenix and his fees. He's so ambitious and I currently can't contribute towards him. But if you are willing or wanting, please go check this out, go share this. And having that available on social media is very, very easily accessible. Being able to go on the platform is great and important, but also being able to share your profile, that it spreads across various channels, that will help you a lot in gaining a bigger community and having donors contribute towards your funding goal. Okay. I know we are over by 8 minutes, but I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. I know you guys might have more questions. Please know that we answer student queries via support@feenix.org. We have wonderful individuals that are wanting to assist you and help you with any other questions that you have. Please do follow our social media. if you're wanting to know a little bit more about Feenix, if you're wanting to just seek out snippets on, how Feenix operates, who is part of the Feenix team, looking at more student stories. I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being part of learning about Feenix and fundraising. And I hope you guys that have been part of the Feenix family feel recharged with the Feenix skills, because we felt like it was important to bring back those essentials that are needed. And for those of you that are wanting to be part of the Feenix community, I hope you guys got more insight and feel more knowledgeable about wanting to join and create a profile, guys. Go and create a profile and make sure that you're able to achieve that goal that you're wanting to achieve. Even if it feels like it might be impossible, small things every day can make something that feels impossible very possible. So, guys, I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we wear pink, but I didn't wear pink today. But have a good one. Take care of yourselves. And we will see you in the next webinar coming soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.